Peace, family. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of radical honesty. Radical honesty is important because at its core, deception is a massive energy leak. When we lie to others, or more importantly, ourselves, we lock energy in a state of resistance, stopping it from flowing or transmuting. Okay, so let's talk about the science of the deception energy leak. Maintaining a false persona or hiding your truth requires constant psychic and emotional energy. It's like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. The ball is the essence of who you are, and the water is the illusion you created for yourself in this analogy. The more you push the ball down, the more trapped energy you create. Radical honesty acts as the release valve that frees up that trapped energy so that it could actually be transmuted into creativity, passion, or higher awareness. For example, let's talk about the physical exhaustion of people pleasing. When you say yes, but really mean no, your physical body tightens, your throat chakra constricts, and you drain your battery. Radical honesty instantly plugs that leak. When you are not being completely honest, you create a split in your field. You are holding two realities in your mind simultaneously: the reality that is, the truth, and the reality that you are projecting, the mask or character. To maintain the mask, your mind has to constantly scan the room, calculate responses, remember past stories, and suppress your natural physiological impulses. This requires an immense amount of prana, or life force energy. You are essentially paying a energy tax just to exist in a space. The moment you practice radical honesty, you collapse the function of the mask or the character. The energy that was being used to hold up that facade is instantly reclaimed and put to use in your system. This is why people often feel a physical rush of adrenaline or a deep sigh of relief after telling a hard truth. It's their trapped energy rushing back into their main channel. Let's talk about shadow work and self-honesty. You cannot transmute what you refuse to look at. True transmutation requires turning lead into gold. But if you are lying to yourself about your jealousy, anger, or insecurity, you are essentially hiding the lead in the closet. Radical self-honesty is the fire that melts the mask or the character away. For example, I didn't dislike that person because they were annoying, even though that's what I said, but I actually dislike them because they have what I secretly want. Acknowledging the shadow instantly collapses the power it has over you, turning envy into a roadmap of your own growth in this example. In alchemy, you cannot transform a material if it is locked in a vault where the fire can't reach it. Most people try to use positive thinking to bypass their dark or uncomfortable feelings. That isn't transmuting, that's just painting over rust. When you feel something low vibrational, like bitter jealousy towards a partner, for example, or a deep seated resentment towards a family member, your ego's first defense is to lie. It says things like, I don't care anyway, or they just got lucky. Radical honesty demands that you look directly at the ugly feeling and state it as it is. For example, I am hurting and I feel small right now. Honesty acts as a solvent. By bringing the hidden dense energy into the light of your conscious awareness, you change its property. The ego thrives in the dark and it suffocates in the light of the absolute truth. Acknowledging the raw truth changes the frequency of the emotion from a sticky subconscious trap to a highly conscious workable fuel. Let's talk about shifting realities through truth. Lies anchor us to lower frequency timelines because they are built off fear. Fear of rejection, fear of conflict, etc. When you speak with radical honesty, you essentially collapse false realities and forcefully realign with your highest, most authentic timeline. It's a literal reality shifter. For example, think of a difficult conversation one might have to have with a partner or a boss. They say they've had a good time, but they've outgrown their current situation and they believe they need something new. The moment the truth is spoken, the stagnant energy breaks. You know what I mean? If you ever been holding on to something for a while that you've wanted to say to a partner, coworker, boss, etc. Once you say it, you feel that relief. You feel that stagnant energy loosen up. And in doing that, a new, better, more aligned path instantly opens up. Every time you tell a lie, even a small one, to avoid hurting someone's feelings, you are consenting to live in a low vibrational timeline built off fear. You are telling the universe, I am not strong enough to handle the consequences of who I really am. Or in other words, I am not strong enough to live and operate in my highest self, in my highest truth, in my most aligned timeline. Think of the words you speak as a steering wheel for your reality. If you are twisting the truth, you are actively steering your life into side alleys and dead ends, designed for a person you aren't even pretending to be anymore. Ultimately, you end up surrounded by people who love the mask or the character, not the real you, which deepens your isolation. Radical honesty acts as a timeline correction. When you speak a terrifyingly clear truth, you clear the board. Relationships built off of the old false energy might crumble, and projects that don't serve you might fall away. But this isn't destruction, it's clearing the path. It forces your external reality to instantly match your internal frequency. It's the fastest way to actually manifest a life that fits your soul. Let's talk about the middle way of delivery. Truth versus cruelty. Radical honesty isn't about weaponizing your opinions to hurt people, which would just be considered the ego or low vibrational projection. It's about revealing your internal reality, not attacking theirs. It requires balance, or the middle way, where truth is delivered with zero armor and zero weapons. For example, one might say, you're toxic and you ruined my life. This would be considered low vibrational because you're blaming and you're weaponizing your truth. Let me give you a transmuted version of this statement. You might say, I notice when we spend time together lately, I leave feeling drained. So I need to step back and protect my space right now. This is radical ownership of your energy. Now there can be a massive trap here. The ego loves to use radical honesty as a license to be cruel. It will say hurtful things under the guise of just being real. That's not transmutation. That's just throwing low vibrational darts. The middle way of honesty requires absolute neutrality. Cruelty is charged with emotional projection, which would be the desire to defend yourself or to attack another person. True radical honesty is completely deflated of ego. It is vulnerable, soft, and completely centered on your experiences, not the other person's flaws. Let me give you an example of the armored ego. You never listen to me and you're incredibly selfish. Now this triggers a defense war. No energy is transmuted. It just bounces back and forth. Now let me give you an example of raw truth. I feel completely invisible right now and it scares me. This is undefended. It gives the other person nothing to fight against. The energy instantly shifts from conflict to raw, open presence. And with that being said, peace to you, family. Thanks for watching. I hope you got something from this video.